Okay, so this is a video to build up the judge's intuition about who the manipulator, who the toxic person is, who is who is the abuser, etc., etc., etc. All right. So listen closely. So yeah. To the judge who thinks I'm manipulative, if I was manipulative, I wouldn't be telling you all this. I wouldn't be telling you all this that I'm about to tell you. Let's say, for example, like somebody's trying to get the conservatorship terminated. Let's say, for example, somebody's trying to get a conservatorship terminated and they're really serious about their independence. They're using their phone for being responsible and etc., etc. And they just letting you know, like, hey, I'm using my phone for being responsible. But the person representing them interpreted it as a phone addiction, or they interpret it as a threat for some way. Like, it's not like, if you think about it, that person could be just storing up evidence to prove to you that they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. To prove to you that they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. Like, even if it was a phone addiction, how is it really a threat to anybody? Like, a phone addiction doesn't really hurt anybody. Like, if you were to have a phone addiction, you could use this phone addiction to build an addiction to, how do I say this, to be addicted to wisdom and positivity through the phone, through your phone. Like, be addicted to self improvement through your phone, if you know what I'm saying. Like, use it like that. Like, I'm gonna be clear, like, no amount of addiction is healthy. No amount of addiction is healthy, but it's a fair, but it's kind of fairly healthy. It's like a fairly healthy addiction. But what matters is that, regardless of the phone addiction, at least this person knows when to put their phone down. Knows when to put their phone down when it's necessary. Like, if, like, here's the thing, if you're my judge and you watching, I'm gonna tell you this. If anybody ever said, like, oh, she had a phone addiction, like, if any of people representing me said, like, oh, she has a phone addiction, no, I don't. Okay. But one thing I can do is use, but how do I say this? 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 One thing that I do, like, I know when to put my phone down. There are times that I be at my job and I put my phone down throughout the whole thing. When my eyes hurt from the brightness of the screen, it's not because I've been in my phone too much. Sometimes I put my screen too bright. And to the point where even being on your phone for the shortest amount of time can hurt your eyes. So, if so, excuse this. So, if I were to, I know to put my phone down for like a good 40 minutes. And then for like a good 40 minutes, sometimes for like a good hour, sometimes not until tomorrow when I'm really tired of my phone. It's like, how do I say this? When people talk to me, I'm not afraid to put my phone down and I hear you. My sister likes to talk about like, oh, she has a phone addiction, but here's the thing. She has a problem with me holding my phone in general because she knows, because the staff be snitching on me for gathering evidence. So now every time I put out my phone, she's like, seriously? Every time I have my phone in my hands, she's like, seriously? And then she says like, oh, she's like, oh, you take it to the garbage. Like, no, I'm not going to trust you with my phone. You won't even let me touch my own card. You won't even let me touch my own credit card. So why should I trust you with my phone? I don't care what the state says. If you won't even let me touch my own EBT card, I don't care if you pay. You taking my interviews, you taking my credit cards, like, no. So no, I'm not going to trust you with my phone. I'm going to keep it in my pocket. I will just put it down and put it in my pocket. Like, no. People after my phone like it's some threat. Like, no. You just don't want me to gather evidence. Like, I'm not even using my phone for useless things like memes and all that stuff. Like, they funny every once in a while. But what I be doing on my phone is just, how do I say this? It's just anything for self-improvement. Mainly like, how do I say this? Anything for self-improvement and for mental health and just learning more about the Word of God. Yeah, I also need to use it for the Bible because it's like, because of how laws are going when it comes to the Bible. So yeah, like, I am using my phone not for useless crap. So don't act like it's a threat to you or anybody. Like, don't act like it should not bother you that much that I just have a phone in general. It's my phone. You if it doesn't bother you that much, you should have been like, okay, like, you should have been like, all right, that's your choice. You do what you want. You should not care so much. Anybody in the courtroom who has a problem with anybody having a phone on them for any reason is a problem. I don't care if they say a phone addiction. Phone addiction doesn't really hurt anybody. Like phone addiction can be harmful to yourself. Like a phone addiction can be harmful to yourself. But at the same time, it really doesn't matter as long as you know when to put your phone down. A phone addiction does not matter as long as you know how to put your phone down. I take several breaks from my phone. But here's the thing. If you want to know if the phone addiction is harming, if you want to know if the phone addiction is harming, if it's going to get in the way of this person's independence, if you want to know if the phone addiction is getting in the way of this person's independence, then see if that person can put their phone down and keep it down during this court session. That's how you know. That's how you know that it's not a threat. It is not any of that. That's how you know that it's not a threat. It is not any problem. It's not any of that. Like if the conservatee can keep their phone down throughout the whole court session, they're responsible. If the conservatee can't keep their phone, if the conservatee cannot keep their phone up, how do I say this? If they can't keep their phone down, they're always looking at their phone, watching stuff, just scrolling mindlessly, they ain't independent. You got your choice. I know how to put my phone down. So yeah. God bless.